Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, continuing our freshman spotlight as we take a look back at that 2023 class and talk about some of the true freshmen that'll be taking the field this fall and what guys will have instant impacts. And we're going to the Miami Hurricanes, and we're not going to talk about the freak offensive tackles that they brought in. They'll for sure make the list. We're going to go on the defensive side of the ball and talk about Rueben Bain, a guy that when I read the Miami spring practice notes, when I watch the spring game, this is a dude that he is going to be playing early. He's going to play early and often, and he's going to be making a big-time difference for this Miami Hurricanes defensive line. Really excited to get into him. Now, before we do, again, just want to say thank you to you guys for all the support you guys have shown. Over 6,000 subscribers on the channel. And the Miami Hurricane fans, we've talked a lot of this 2024 recruiting trail. The support you guys have shown the boys does mean a lot. So if you like the updates, consider subscribing to the channel. And then more importantly, let me know in the comment section which players we got to be giving the freshman spotlight to. Francis is on the list, and I got a sleeper alert too. Mark Fletcher, a guy that people need to be talking about from American heritage. He will also be talked about. But again, appreciate you guys. I'd also like to hear what you guys think. How do you think this defensive line rotation looks like for Miami? Because Rueben Bain's a guy that you seemingly have to figure out a way to get him on the football field. But we're going to get into it. This Miami defensive line, at least on paper, if they can stay healthy, which was a struggle last year, this is a damn good group. Now, let's talk about Rueben Bain first. And the first thing I want to say is just how productive he was at the high school level, right? You're talking about 77 sacks in his high school career, 29 and a half sacks during his junior year. This is a guy that not only has the freak traits, but he also has already paired it with football production, which is sometimes rare when you're talking about high school recruiting. Sometimes there's a lot of projection, right? Guys who have freak traits, but haven't quite figured it out on the football field yet. Rueben Bain is a guy with the freak traits, but also has figured it out on the football field. And you saw it during the spring game, had 3 sacks. You read it during the spring notes. Jason Taylor, Mario Cristobal, absolutely raving about Rueben Bain. Now I want to talk about how does he figure to fit in on this defensive line? Because it's a loaded group, right? Like, I love Akeem Mesidor when he's healthy. I mean, coming over from West Virginia, like, he was very, very good. Jafari Harvey's another guy that I'm really high on. Where does Rueben Bain play in? And one thing that I'm focusing on is he might not start. He might not trot out with the number one defense, but that defensive line is going to rotate, and Rueben Bain is going to be a part of that rotation. And the next thing I want to say is he's a guy that can kind of be a little bit versatile, right? He has a ton of burst and bend to win out on the edge, but he's pretty strong at the point of attack. And you see, even on this high school film, that he can play on the inside as well. And what I want to go to and just show you a quick picture of why I think he can get on the field relatively early for Miami. And it's just going to be one play, and it's not the flashiest play, but it's a play that gets you on the football field at the college football level. And that is maintaining the edge and being solid in the run game, right? You're going to see him work this offensive tackle, play with good leverage, and then make a play in the run game. And again, that's not a sack. That's not litter in the stat sheet, but keeping that outside shoulder free, being able to keep that play inside, that is something that Rueben Bain is going to allow Rueben Bain. And then you see just ridiculous amount of dip. But going back to that run play, you seeing that is something that's going to get him on the field relatively early. And it's not something that you're going to get super excited about, or a lot of I don't want you like to use the word casual fans, but a lot of the casual fans will be, oh, that's a good play. No, that is a phenomenal play that a lot of true freshmen really struggle with because they just want to go tackle the quarterback. If you can be a force in the run game, like Rueben Bain has been on during his high school career, that's kind of how he's going to get worked into this rotation, or at least allow him to get on the field early. Now, going back to this Miami depth chart, and this is kind of where I want to ask you guys what you guys are thinking, right? You have Leonard Taylor, again, stays healthy. He's going to be a first-round draft pick. You have Akeem Mesidor. Again, he's a guy that probably goes day 2 in the NFL draft if he can stay healthy. Rueben Bain, I think, figures to be that next guy off the edge, right? Jafari Harvey, Akeem Mesidor, and then you have Rueben Bain. And then when it comes time at 3rd and long, if you guys can stop that run, get into 3rd and 7+, I think Rueben Bain can be a guy that you can play on the inside and tell him to pin his ears back and get after the passer from the inside, because you saw that also on his film where he's a guy that can push pockets, that can just be a matchup nightmare for some of those bigger interior offensive linemen in terms of athleticism. Rueben Bain checks all the boxes. So you talk about having a true freshman, especially on the defensive line, make an impact year 1. It's rare. That being said, I think Rueben Bain is a guy that, I mean, you look at his recruiting ranking as a top 100 national dude, probably should have been probably close to that top 50 than the bottom 100 or the back end of the top 100, because he's a guy that checks all those boxes in terms of bringing those athletic traits. He's going to be good in the run game. But again, defensive line, it's so important to have depth. And I love this Miami defensive line, at least in the one deep, right? And they went to the transfer portal and got some guys because I think they were concerned about their depth on that defensive line. I think Miami fans and Mario Cristobal and Jason Taylor should be feeling a lot better about this defensive line in terms of depth with Rueben Bain, because he seems to be a guy that's going to be playing a lot. Whether he starts or not, I don't think matters, because that defensive line is going to be rotating. And when it is time to get after the passer, there might not be many better options in terms of pinning your ears back and going after the quarterback than a guy in Rueben Bain Jr. Again, very excited about him. We got plenty of guys from Miami to talk about. Again, Mark Fletcher is going to be on it. Francis is going to be on it. Let me know in the comment section if there's any other guys that you think will be impact makers as true freshmen. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. And of course, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.